Hey guys, this video will have spoilers through all 6 seasons of the show, so close out ASAP if you're not caught up. If I can keep this video short enough, I'll throw it into the Side Note series playlist, but don't get me wrong, it's about a very important issue, namely, how do we defeat the Night King? This video will just be a first draft though. I want to see what y'all think and maybe we can expand on it sometime down the road. Maybe not though, you guys may convince me that this idea is ridiculous. Are you ready? Here we go. We're going to try connecting 4 things: the Valonqar prophecy, the completion of Jaime's character arc, Dany's vision of the Great Throne Room, and closure in the form of a bittersweet ending packed with symbolism of better days yet to come. So let's start by going over the Valonqar prophecy that Maggie the Frog told Cersei when she was a little kid.
3 questions you get. You won't like the answers. You'll never wed the prince. You'll wed the king. You'll be queen for a time. Then comes another, younger, more beautiful, to cast you down and take all you hold dear. The king will have 20 children, and you will have 3.
That doesn't make sense.
Gold will be their crowns. Gold. Their shrouds. Did they put her in the red gown or the gold? Gold. Good. That was always her color.
You don't failed her.
No, I knew this would happen. The witch told me years ago, promised me 3 children. She promised me they'd die, and gold their shrouds. Everything she said came true. You couldn't have stopped it. It's prophecy. It's fate.
But in the books, Maggie the Frog says one more prophecy, an important one. In A Feast for Crows, Cersei 8, Maggie says, "And when your tears have drowned you, the Valonqar shall wrap his hands around your pale white throat and choke the life from you." Wow, as I just read that, I'm starting to wonder if she's actually dead when she is choked, since the prophecy says her throat is pale and white, but I guess I'll save that for another video since it would completely bust this theory that I'm about to present. So the question is, why do you think that the show left this part of the prophecy out? Is it because this part of the prophecy doesn't come true in the books, so they just left it out of the show since it's irrelevant? Is it because Cersei is going to die in the show in a different way than she dies in the books? Or did they leave it out simply because they want her death to be more of a shocker? I'm hoping that it's the latter. You know what, I guess I'll finally do a separate video for all the possible scenarios of who could be the Valonqar, so hit subscribe if you want to catch that when I do it. But for this video, let's roll with the most popular theory right now, which is that Jaime kills Cersei in order to prevent her from blowing up King's Landing with wildfire. You may be asking, why would she try to blow up King's Landing? Well, Cersei is running out of options. She is going to have problems funding her army because the crown owes a ton of money to the Iron Bank of Braavos. Side note, I just learned what the Iron Bank sigil was last night since YouTuber Haymaker710 is currently using it as an avatar. It's a pretty solid sigil, right? Now, as Haymaker said, the Iron Bank will have its due, and on top of that, Dany is about to arrive to Westeros with an arsenal of nuclear weapons in the form of 3 gnarly dragons. So a disgusting strategy that Cersei may end up falling back on is barring the gates of the city to keep everyone inside. All the poor people of Flea Bottom. The theory is that she will hold them hostage, threatening to blow up the city if Jon, Dany, or anyone else tries to take it over. Now let's go back almost 2 decades. Jaime has lived the last 20 years being branded as a KINGslayer for killing Mad Aerys. As fans of the show, we know that he saved the people and the city of King's Landing, but few people give him credit for that. Even so-called good people, like Ned and Brienne, repetitively called my dude KINGslayer with a negative connotation. Well, you know what? He should take some advice from his little brother.
Never forget what you are. The rest of the world will not. Wear it like armor, and it can never be used to hurt you.
Jaime should be doing the same thing about the term KINGslayer. Embrace it. Wear it with honor. You saved 1 million people, dude. Don't get me wrong, I'm a huge Eddard fan, but no offense to Headless Dead Ned, you are wrong, man. Jaime's done some crappy things, that's for sure. But in terms of breaking his oath to King Aerys, Jaime is a hero in my book. And if he kills Cersei in order to save the city a second time in a very similar fashion, we can only hope that people finally see it for what it really is. If he does this, they should thank him for making what will probably be a huge emotional decision to kill his twin, his only lover, and probably in a scene where he has to do it by making a split-second decision. And his decision to do this may end up playing an even bigger role than saving the 1 million people in King's Landing. What could be bigger than that? How about saving the entire human species? Here's how it could go down. I'm going to make a video on the possible ways to kill the Night King, but let's pretend that Jon, Dany, Tyrion, Davos, Beric, Thoros, Sandor, Arya, Tormund, Dolores, Ed, Ghost, and everyone else that we love has simply run out of options. They only have so many Valyrian steel swords. They only have so much dragonglass. It's not enough. Going head to head with a dead army is a losing option. I'm sure they will try to cut off the head of the dragon. Let's hope that Arya doesn't get killed trying to do this. But I just don't see them winning in a battle of swords. The Night King's death, if he dies, is going to be legendary. It's not going to happen by dragons. That would be too easy. Let's pretend all 3 dragons have been defeated by the Night King. I hope I don't lose you with that statement, but let's think about it. My man can raise thousands of people back to life simultaneously. He seems to have the green sight like Bran, but he's super powerful. He can find Bran in the green sight realm, for lack of better words. He was created by the Children of the Forest using dragon glass. The Children of the Forest are related to the old gods, green sight and warging, and dragon glass, otherwise known as frozen fire, seems to be related to either volcanoes or dragons and possibly even R'hllor. Most people, including myself until about 3 seconds ago, look at the Night King as a champion of ice, whereas Dany, Dragons, Melisandre, and Beric are champions of fire. Well, now I'm starting to wonder if he, like Jon Snow, also represents a song of ice and fire. Does that mean that he can warg a dragon? Okay, I'm tangenting, sorry, let's get back on track. If Jaime kills Cersei, it would surely complete his character arc. Within the next couple weeks, I'm going to be doing at least 2 videos in a series called Grey Character Arcs. The first 2 will be on Sandor and Jaime, so I'll expand on Jaime's character arc another time. We are so close to being done here, I'm just going to spit it out. Okay, I've mentioned to some of you how I think Jon is living on borrowed time, how I don't think he's going to survive the War of the Dead. But Jon is a song of ice and fire, so isn't he going to be the one to kill the Night King if the Night King dies? I've been struggling to connect these 2 seemingly mutually exclusive ideas, but I just realized they aren't mutually exclusive. What if we get a ton of action, our favorite people battle the dead army at Castle Black and lose, at Winterfell and lose, and on and on. Winter presses south, the Night King has Jon and company in retreat. They fight on their heels, they are on the run all the way to King's Landing. And then they realize, thank God Jaime stopped Cersei from blowing this place up. It's got walls. No, it's even better than that. It sucks to go down this way, but what if it's their only option? Maybe this will be the final song of Ice and Fire. Okay, before I go, let's end on a lighter note. Maybe Jaime earns the love of the people. Jon has to sacrifice his life, true, but Jaime has to sacrifice a part of himself as well by killing Cersei. So was this line from Jon Snow's first chapter a foreshadowing of him becoming king? Will Jaime be rewarded this time for being a KINGslayer, Queenslayer? I don't know. I just don't think he'd make a good king. And anyways, I don't think he'd want to do it. Settling down at Casterly Rock with Brienne would be pretty sweet though. But First Nighters, I'm glad you raised this quote last night. It's a good question. Let's go over it one more time. Jon thinks this is what a king should look like. So why did George give Jon this line if it's not foreshadowing? Well, that was the old Jon. Even though he was raised by 2 pretty good people, namely Eddard Stark and Catelyn Tully, even they practiced some pretty crappy customs. They wouldn't let Jon sit with them when the king arrived, for example. Jon's family. That. So what I'm saying is, even good people like Eddard, Catelyn, and Jon, they're great characters, especially at the beginning of the story. In his eyes, Jaime is what a king should look like, and I don't blame him. I see it too. But I'm not proud of that. Let's be honest, it's pretty superficial. Someone's looks have nothing to do with being a good king. Now, this man would be a great king. After the war versus the dead army, I think Tyrion would be the ideal person to guide Westeros in the right direction in terms of the political, economic, and social environments. Alright, that's it for this one, guys. I'll talk to you all in the comments section. Take care.